Hello students, I am Dr. Meenakshi Mahur, Assistant Professor Zoology, Sri Savliaji Government College, Mandavya, Chittorgarh. Today I am going to discuss general characteristics of class Amphibia. The greatest event in the phylogenetic history was a transition from aquatic to terrestrial mode of life. And amphibians were the first cold-blooded vertebrates to attempt this transition. They are not fully terrestrially adapted and they comes between aquatic and land environment. The name of this class, that is amphibia, indicates their double life. Amphi means dual and double means bios life. So amphibians are between the fish on the one hand and the reptiles on the other hand. Now we will see general characters of amphibia. They are the first cold-blooded vertebrates from evolution point of view which came to the land. This class includes about 3000 species. They are amphibious in nature, that is, they can live on land as well as in water. They may be aquatic or terrestrial. They are found in warm countries. They are ectothermic, that is, cold blooded. Cold blooded animals are those animals which are not capable of regulating their body's temperature according to the temperature of the surrounding. Amphibian's body is divisible into head and trunk, but in some amphibians, tail is also present, and neck and tail may be present or absent. Head is distinct, trunk elongated. The skin of amphibians is soft, moist, and glandular. They have glands which keep them moist. In them, some pigment cells are also present. Those pigment cells are known as chromatophores. In amphibians, exoskeleton is absent and digits are clawless. They don't have scales, but if present, they are hidden beneath the skin. Example, Sicilians. They don't have paired fins, but unpaired fins may be present. In amphibians, limbs usually two pairs, hence they are tetrapod. Some amphibians are limbless. Two pairs of limbs are used for locomotion, except Sicilians. In amphibians, gills are present, but in the larval stages. Some adult forms also carry external gills in addition to lungs. Example, Necturus and Proteus. Their skull is dicondylic, that is, with two occipital condyle for articulation with vertebral column. With the help of these two condyles, skull is connected by first vertebra of vertebral column, which is atlas. In them, lungs, buccopharyngeal cavity, skin, and gills are respiratory organs. In amphibians, heart is three-chambered, means two auricles and one ventricle. See, this is a one ventricle and this is two atrium or two auricles. In the heart, sinus venosus and truncus arteriosus is also present. This is truncus, this is sinus venosus, and this is the conus arteriosus or truncus arteriosus. In amphibians, both hepatic portal and renal portal system are well developed. In them, RBC are biconvex, oval, and nucleated. In amphibians, kidney is mesonephric. Urinary bladder is present in frog, and urinary duct open into cloaca. Larvae and tailed amphibians, that is salamanders, are amonotelic, and frogs and toads are urotelic. Amonotelic means they excrete ammonia in their waste. Ammonia is highly poisonous and water soluble and is produced by quick diffusion of water. Urotelic species are those species which excrete waste in the form of urea. Urea is less harmful than ammonia and requires less water. In amphibians, alimentary canal, urinary, and reproductive tract open into a common chamber called cloaca, which opens outside through cloacal aperture. Ear consists of internal and middle ear. Tympanum, that is the outer membrane, covers the middle ear. Eyes have eyelids. Nictitating membrane is also well developed. They have 10 pairs of cranial nerves. Lateral line system is also found during their development, like fishes. In amphibians, fertilization is external, but in salamander and ichthyophis, fertilization is internal. They are mostly oviparous, but some are viviparous, like salamander. Oviparous animals means those animals which lay eggs, and that eggs develop and hatch into young individuals. In contrast, viviparous animals are born as live young individuals. That is, they do not lay eggs. They directly give rise to live young individuals. In amphibians, development is mostly indirect. They return to water from breeding. In them, cleavage is holoblastic but equal. They don't have any extra embryonic membrane. Sexes are separate. Male without copulatory organ and gonoduct open into cloaca. Amphibians occur in a freshwater and moist land, but amphibians are not found in seawater. But there are exceptions as well. In them, metamorphosis is usually present. A fish-like larva, that is the tadpole, is present in them. What is metamorphosis? Metamorphosis is the transformation of larva to a miniature adult replicate and usually form an aquatic to terrestrial or semi-terrestrial lifestyle. Metamorphosis marks the beginning of end of larval life. So this is a metamorphosis See, this is the adult frog which give rise to egg. Then these are embryo. From embryo, tadpoles emerges and they cling to the water plant. Now see, tadpole having external gills for breathing. Now in them, tail keeps on growing. Then hind lips appear. Then they leave from food stored in the tail. Means they consume their own tail and use it as a food. Then front leg appears. See, then tail become shorter because of its absorption. And then young frog, we can see the here young frog, and this is a adult frog. So this is a whole cycle which is showing metamorphosis, and it is a very common in frog. And because of this metamorphosis, we can see parental care in amphibians. Means they look after the eggs or young until they are independent to defend from predators. And it is very important factor for survival. Animals exhibit a great diversity in caring for the eggs and young during their development. And anurans show much greater diversity than urodils and apodens. Anurans, urodils, and apodens are the orders of class Amphibia. So this is all about general characteristics of uh, amphibia, and they lead amphibious life because they have a adaptation of both aquatic as well as terrestrial. Amphibians being the lowest and earliest tetrapod, which are not fully adapted to a terrestrial life like reptiles. So this is about amphibians. Thank you.